Mike Hall, partner of FaulknerBrowns Architects. Thank you for joining us today. Mike, I know the Faulkner-Brown architects have been around for about 40 years. They're really everything that the UK has done, and now Europe in terms of architecture, going from the 70s and the 80s with Bletchley Leisure Centre, Doncaster Leisure Dome, which was so innovative in its day, the Sheffield and the World Student Games, Manchester for the Commonwealth Games in the early 2000s, the Institute of Sport again at Sheffield. You've got a phenomenal amount of experience, and you yourself being there for 30 years. When you come over to Melbourne in a few weeks' time, you're going to be talking about the future. What can you share with us that you've learned from the past 30 years, which has changed in the narrative of how we look at the future in terms of sustainability?
Sure. Thank you very much, Martin, for that wonderful intro. Yeah, we've always been passionate about the interface of where sport and activity and community and getting people together, where those things meet. I think that's been part of our DNA, and it's helped us driven our approach to community sport and leisure facilities. It's helped drive our approach to, I guess, a slightly more purer sporting facility. I think the game changer that we have seen in the last few years, and it's really kind of come about from a project that we've recently completed in Portsmouth in the UK called the Ravelin Sports Centre, is how we deal with carbon, whole life carbon in sport facilities. And there are a lot of similarities, I would say, between the UK pool market and the Australian pool market, and that we've got an existing stock of leisure facilities. Many are not fit for purpose and they are too old. So what is our attitude to either replacement or refurbishment? And I passionately believe that carbon, a whole life attitude to carbon, is a major factor in the way we think about the experience that we're designing for, but particularly the life of the buildings, whether that's 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. So it is a game changer. And I'm really excited to share some of our knowledge, our feedback that we've had, and some of those learnings that really fundamentally question the briefing process and how we're designing sport and leisure facilities for the next 30, 40 years.
I think that's brilliant. I love the fact that you're looking at 30, 40 years. Sometimes I think consultants and councils can get tied up with how well it looks on day one when the doors open, or even in the first 10 years. And we really need to be designing for 30, 40, 50 years so that we can then have the flexibility within the shell to be able to meet the future trends.
Yeah, there's a wonderful quotation, I think it's probably from the 70s and 80s, that was banded around called long life, loose fit, low energy. And it's a great statement, that triptych. But when you apply it to pool buildings, we've got some real challenges because they're not loose fit. They're very bespoke, most of them. They're not long life. We struggle to get buildings to last, or pool buildings to last more than 20 years before they're either seriously in need of refurbishment or in many cases demolished. And they're certainly not low energy. So we have some real challenges. And I think the mindset of 40, 50 years in terms of carbon, so energy savings, but the replacement of components of the building, but making sure it's flexible enough, because we know trends will change and we need to be able to modify buildings over the course of the life. So we do need that longer time frame, that longer mindset that we should be designing for.
Absolutely agree with you. And we're really excited about you coming over as part of the International Association for Sport and Leisure Facilities, IAKS, who we're partnering with this year. So we look forward to seeing you on the 27th and the 28th of June in Melbourne, in a really sunny time of the year for us. Thanks, Mike.
Fantastic, Martin. Can't wait. Really looking forward to it.